Chapter 5: The Great Escape, or so it seems. The plan was reckless, dangerous, and entirely dependent on perfect timing. Isla knew this as she sat across from Liam at the weathered cabin table, her heart hammering in her chest. But fear had long since given way to resolve. She had to get out, and she was taking Liam's help, whether she liked it or not. "You're sure you can handle this?" Liam asked, his tone skeptical as he spread a crude map of the wooded area between them. Isla met his gaze head on. "I told you I'm not waiting around to be rescued. I'm in." Liam's mouth curved into a faint, approving smirk. "All right, Calloway, here's how it goes down." He traced a path along the map with his finger. "The perimeter isn't as secure as Grant thinks. There's a blind spot near the eastern ridge. We'll hike out under cover of night, take the back road, and intercept one of the supply drops for my gear." "And then?" Isla prompted. "And then," Liam said, his voice turning grim, "we vanish. Grant thinks you're locked down tight. When he realizes you're gone, it'll be too late to stop what comes next." A shiver ran down Isla's spine. "What comes next? You get your life back," Liam said simply, "and Grant loses everything." The forest was thick with shadows, every rustle of leaves amplified by Isla's frayed nerves. She followed Liam closely, her breath shallow as they navigated through the dense trees. "Stay low," Liam murmured. "We've got about 10 minutes before they do the next patrol." Isla nodded, her legs aching from the relentless pace, but she didn't complain. She couldn't afford weakness now. They reached the ridge without incident, and Liam signaled for her to stop. He pulled out a small device, scanning the area for signals. "Clear," he confirmed. "We're good to go." They crept down the slope, the dirt loose beneath their feet. Isla's heart raced with every step. Freedom was so close she could taste it. But as they neared the back road, headlights appeared in the distance, bouncing through the trees like searchlights. "Damn it," Liam hissed. "They're early." "What do we do?" Isla whispered, panic tightening her throat. "Hide," he ordered, pulling her behind a thicket of bushes. The vehicle rumbled closer, its engine growling like a predator on the hunt. Isla held her breath, willing herself to stay perfectly still. The SUV slowed, its tires crunching against the gravel. A man in tactical gear stepped out, shining a flashlight into the trees. Ayla's pulse thundered in her ears. One wrong move, one rustle of leaves, and they were done. The beam of light swept dangerously close to their hiding spot. Liam's hand tightened around her arm, a silent warning to stay put. Minutes stretched into eternity before the man climbed back into the vehicle and drove off, the sound of the engine fading into the distance. Isla exhaled shakily. That was too close. Liam stood, brushing dirt from his pants. "Welcome to the fun part," he said dryly. She glared at him. "This is your idea of fun?" "Adrenaline junkie," he quipped, but there was tension beneath his humor. They continued their trek until they reached the rendezvous point, a rusted storage container hidden beneath camouflage netting. Liam pried it open, revealing a cache of weapons, communication gear, and survival supplies. "Prepared much?" Isla remarked, eyeing the stash. "You'd be surprised how often jobs go south," Liam said, loading a duffel bag with supplies. As he handed her a flashlight and a canteen, Isla realized something unsettling. She didn't just feel safer with Liam. She trusted him more than she had ever trusted Grant. They were halfway back to the road when a low hum filled the air. Liam froze. "Get down," he ordered sharply. "What is it?" "Drone." Isla's stomach twisted as the mechanical whir grew louder. They hit the ground, pressing themselves against the forest floor. The drone circled above, its red lights blinking ominously. "This wasn't supposed to happen," Liam muttered under his breath. "They're escalating." Isla bit back a curse. "Grant knows we're out." "No," Liam said grimly. He planned for this. The realization hit Isla like a blow. Grant had never expected her to remain a prisoner. He had set this up so she'd try to escape, only to be caught and brought back humiliated, a pawn in his twisted PR game. "This was the plan all along," Isla whispered bitterly. Liam's jaw clenched. "Not anymore." He grabbed her hand. "Time to run." They sprinted through the woods, dodging trees and underbrush as the drone followed relentlessly. Isla's lungs burned, but she pushed herself harder. "There's a ravine up ahead," Liam shouted. "We jump." "Are you insane?" Isla gasped. "Probably," he shot back. They reached the edge, the ground dropping into darkness below. "Now!" Liam yelled, pulling her with him as they leapt into the void. Time seemed to freeze as they plummeted toward the rocky bottom. The drone's mechanical buzz faded into the distance, replaced by the rush of wind and Isla's own heartbeat. They hit the slope hard, tumbling down the incline until they landed in a shallow stream. Pain shot through Isla's side, but adrenaline kept her moving. Liam groaned beside her, blood trickling from a gash on his forehead. "Still alive?" Isla gasped. "Barely," he muttered, wincing as he stood. Isla staggered to her feet, drenched and shivering. "Now what?" Liam's eyes gleamed with fierce determination. "Now we disappear for good." As they limped deeper into the forest, Isla realized something undeniable. This wasn't just an escape. It was the beginning of the end, for Grant, for his empire, and for the life she had once known. Chapter 6: Love Lies and the Ultimate Betrayal. The sky above the dense forest had darkened into an inky black, punctuated only by the faint shimmer of stars. Isla and Liam moved quietly through the wilderness, their breath heavy from exertion. They had crossed miles of rugged terrain, and every muscle in Isla's body ached. Still, determination propelled her forward. She wanted freedom. But more than that, she wanted revenge. A sudden rustle in the underbrush made Isla freeze, her heart racing. Liam raised a hand, motioning for silence. They crouched low, ears straining for any sign of danger. "It's just wildlife," Liam murmured after a tense moment. His voice was steady, reassuring. "You're sure?" Isla whispered, her nerves frayed. "Positive," he said, glancing at her with a faint smirk. "You jumpy or something?" "Gee, I wonder why," she shot back dryly, though relief loosened the tight knot in her chest. Despite the danger, there was a strange sense of ease between them now. The barrier of distrust had thinned, replaced by a bond forged in survival. "You're not bad at this," Liam admitted as they resumed walking. "For a society princess." Isla rolled her eyes. "And you're surprisingly tolerable for a kidnapper." Liam chuckled softly, but there was a weariness in his expression that hadn't been there before. Isla wondered how much of his bravado was just a mask. "Why do you do this?" she asked suddenly. "The whole mercenary for hire thing." Liam's jaw tightened. "Not by choice," he said after a pause, "but once you're in, it's hard to get out." "What keeps you in?" He hesitated, then shrugged. "A promise I couldn't break." Isla wanted to press further, but the rawness in his voice stopped her. They all had scars, some visible, others hidden deep beneath the surface. And Liam Wolfe, she realized, was more than just a hired gun. He was a man carrying the weight of past mistakes. Hours later, they stumbled upon a dilapidated hunting cabin nestled in a clearing. Liam checked the perimeter before nodding. "Safe enough for now," he said. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of damp wood. Isla sank onto a threadbare couch, exhaustion washing over her. "You all right?" Liam asked, handing her a canteen. "Yeah," she lied, taking a sip. Liam sat across from her, his expression unreadable. "We need to talk about what happens next." "I figured that much," Isla said, steeling herself. "Grant's not just going to sit back and let this blow over," Liam warned. "He's got resources, people who will hunt us down if we're not careful." "Let them try," Isla said fiercely. "I'm done being afraid." Liam's lips quirked into a faint smile. "You're dangerous when you're pissed." "Good," she said. "I plan to be." Their eyes met, tension crackling in the space between them. For a moment, the chaos around them faded, replaced by something raw and undeniable. Before Isla could second-guess herself, she leaned forward, capturing Liam's lips in a kiss that was equal parts fury and desperation. Liam hesitated for only a second before responding, his hand sliding to the back of her neck. The kiss was intense, charged with the weight of everything they had endured: betrayal, fear, survival. When they finally pulled apart, breathless, Isla searched his eyes for regret, but found none. "That was unexpected," Liam said, his voice rough. "Regretting it already?" Isla challenged, though her heart raced. "Not even close," he murmured, his thumb brushing her cheek. The warmth of the moment shattered when Liam's phone buzzed. His face darkened as he read the message. "What is it?" Isla asked, her gut twisting. Liam's jaw clenched. "We've got a problem." He handed her the phone, and Ila's blood ran cold. The message was from an unknown number, but the contents were unmistakable. "We know where you are. Enjoy your last night of freedom." Below the message was a photograph of the cabin they were currently hiding in, taken from just outside the window. Ila's breath hitched. "They found us." Liam cursed under his breath, moving swiftly to gather their gear. "We need to go. Now." "How did they find us?" Isla demanded, panic rising. "There's only one way," Liam said grimly. "We were tracked." Realization dawned on Isla like a punch to the gut. "Grant!" Liam's expression turned murderous. "He set this up." "But how?" Isla asked, her voice cracking. "He doesn't know where we are." Unless a sickening thought lodged itself in her mind, she grabbed Liam's arm, her voice trembling. "Your favor. The one you said you owed. Who was it to?" Liam hesitated, guilt flickering in his eyes. "Liam." She pressed, dread settling over her like a heavy weight. "Who?" He exhaled sharply, as if the truth burned on his tongue. "Grant Calloway." The world tilted beneath Isla's feet. You were working for him this whole time?" "It's not what you think," Liam said urgently. "I was supposed to keep you safe, not—" "You lied to me," she choked out, fury and heartbreak colliding inside her. "You made me trust you." "I didn't have a choice," Liam insisted, "but things changed." "You used me," Ayla spat, stepping back as tears stung her eyes. "Just like Grant." Liam's face twisted with regret. "I never wanted this. I swear." "Save it," she cut him off, her voice icy. "You're no better than him." The cabin door creaked ominously as shadows moved outside. Isla's pulse thundered in her ears. "They're here," Liam said grimly, his voice taut with tension. Isla's resolve hardened. "Good," she said coldly. "Let them come." Because if there was one thing she knew now, it was this. She couldn't trust anyone. Not Grant, not Liam, and certainly not herself, for ever believing in love again. Chapter 7. Twisted Justice. The cabin had fallen eerily silent after the chaos of gunfire. Smoke lingered in the cold night air, the acrid scent sharp in Isla's nose as she crouched beside a shattered window. Every nerve in her body was on edge. Beside her, Liam reloaded his pistol with swift precision. His expression was hard, focused. "They're regrouping," he murmured, "but they're out of their element here." "And us?" Ayla asked, her voice tight. "We're right where we need to be," he said grimly. She didn't know whether to be comforted or terrified. The faint crunch of footsteps echoed from the trees. Isla's pulse quickened. Shadows flickered just beyond the clearing, faceless figures closing in with the kind of precision that spoke of ruthless training. "They'll surround the cabin," Liam said. "We can't stay here." "No kidding," Isla muttered, gripping the handle of a hunting knife Liam had handed her earlier. It felt foreign and heavy in her hand, but she wasn't going to be a victim again. The only way out was through the enemy. Isla knew it, and so did Liam. "We make a break for the stream," Liam whispered, pointing to the dark ribbon of water glinting under moonlight. "They won't expect us to cross it. Too risky for them." "And for us, extremely risky," Liam admitted. "But we like a challenge, right?" Isla shot him a withering glare. "Speak for yourself." A faint smirk tugged at his lips despite the danger. With a nod, Liam signaled for her to follow. They moved swiftly, slipping out through the back door and into the shadows of the forest. The cold air bit at Isla's skin as they crept through the underbrush, every step measured and silent. The sound of voices carried on the wind, sharp and urgent. Isla's heart raced as they pressed themselves flat against a fallen tree. "They've lost track of us," Liam whispered. "For now," she muttered. He glanced at her, his gaze steady. "Stay close." They reached the stream without incident, but Isla knew better than to hope they were safe. Liam waded into the icy water first, motioning for her to follow. The cold was shocking, stealing the breath from her lungs, but she pushed through. Halfway across, a shout rang out behind them. "There!" Liam swore under his breath. "Keep moving!" The forest erupted into chaos. Isla stumbled through the water, gasping as icy currents threatened to drag her down. Liam grabbed her arm, pulling her forward with relentless determination. Bullets splintered the trees around them. They hit the opposite bank and sprinted into the dense woods, lungs burning. Isla's legs felt like lead, but she refused to stop. "Almost there," Liam urged, his voice rough with exertion. They burst into a small clearing, breathless and soaked. For a moment, the world was silent, except for the pounding of Isla's heart. Then he emerged from the shadows. Grant Calloway stood at the edge of the clearing, flanked by two of his men. His suit was immaculate despite the chaos, and his expression was one of cold satisfaction. "Well," he drawled, "this has been quite the adventure, hasn't it?" Isla's stomach twisted with fury. "You set this up," she said, her voice shaking. "The kidnapping, the ransom, all of it." Grant's smile widened. "It's just business, darling. You know how these things go." "You destroyed everything," she spat. "For money. For survival," he corrected smoothly. "You think I built my empire by playing nice?" Liam stepped forward, his gun raised. "Let her go," he said coldly. Grant laughed, a low, mocking sound. "Let her go? Oh, Liam, you've always been so sentimental." Liam's jaw tightened, but his aim didn't waver. Isla's fury bubbled over. "You think you can just walk away from this?" she demanded. Grant's eyes gleamed with arrogance. "I always walk away, Isla, but not this time." Before Grant could react, Isla made her move. She stepped forward, her voice calm despite the storm raging inside her. "You know what your problem is, Grant?" He arched a brow. "Do tell." "You underestimate people." With that, she grabbed a rock from the ground and hurled it at the nearest guard. The man stumbled, giving Liam just enough time to disarm him. The other guard lunged, but Isla sidestepped, adrenaline fueling her movements. Liam delivered a swift blow, knocking the second guard unconscious. Grant's smug expression faltered. "You think you're untouchable," Isla said, breathing heavily. "But even kings fall." Grant's confidence wavered as sirens wailed in the distance. "You called the cops?" he snarled. Isla smiled coldly. "No, but apparently someone did." Grant's empire was collapsing, and he knew it. "You'll regret this." He spat as the police vehicles screeched to a halt nearby. "Funny," Isla said, her voice steady. "I was just thinking the same about you." As officers swarmed the clearing, Isla felt a strange sense of peace settle over her. Grant Calloway was finished, and for the first time in a long time, Isla was free. Weeks later, Isla stood on the balcony of her new apartment, the city lights stretching out before her. "You okay?" Liam's voice broke through her thoughts. She turned to find him leaning casually against the doorframe. "I will be," she said with a faint smile. They stood in comfortable silence for a moment. "So," Liam said, "what now?" Isla's gaze was resolute. "Now, I rebuild. On my terms." Liam's lips curved into a smile. "Sounds like a plan." As the night stretched on, Isla knew one thing for certain. She was no longer a pawn in anyone's game. She was a survivor, a fighter, and this was just the beginning. Wow, what an incredible journey. From betrayal to redemption, Isla's story proves that no one should ever underestimate the power of resilience, trust, and a fierce will to reclaim what's theirs. Grant may have thought he had it all figured out, but in the end, justice found its way. If you enjoyed this roller coaster of twists, suspense, and heart-pounding moments, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss what's coming next. More stories filled with drama, mystery, and unforgettable characters. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more.